What's up, sports fans? It's sports battle time. We're here to talk about my Milwaukee Bucks traveling to Brooklyn, taking on the Nets. Game 7. Whew, man, I'm a little bit nervous. Definitely don't trust my Bucks in this situation. I got the feeling, though, it's going to be a good game, and we will see how this one breaks out. I think a lot of this might just rest him. Is Harden healthier today, or did he aggravate it? Like, what do we see from James today?
It's a good question. I think, as far as the trust goes, they haven't earned your trust yet. It's games like this where they can.
No, it's like, you're dating somebody. They haven't given you any reason not to trust them 100%, but sometimes their phone calls show up at shady times and stuff like that. And you're just not really sure what to think about them. And that's about where I'm at with my Milwaukee Bucks right now. So I'm excited for the game, but the trust level is at about 0.
It's almost like you expect to be let down, so you're not disappointed.
Expect to be let down tonight. If I had to bet on a team just straight up, I would bet on the Nets. And I would spend the rest of the night hoping that I'm wrong.
It is interesting that they've played 9 times or 8 times this year, and the home team's won every game.
It is interesting, which doesn't make me love the fact the game's in Brooklyn tonight.
No, but I give Milwaukee a good shot. I'm not going to lie.
So I heard kind of the breakdown of why the home team has such an advantage in this one is that NBA referees are human beings like anybody else. They can be influenced by the crowd a little bit. And Milwaukee being such a physically dominant team over Brooklyn, at home, they're allowed to play more 80s style of basketball. PJ Tucker's allowed to get up in the grill of Kevin Durant. Drew Holiday's allowed to get up in the grill of everybody else. And they're just a physically superior team, whereas the Nets are just about as good of a finesse team as we've ever seen, right? Just elite shooters and just great ball skills and everything like that. So just the way that referees play this thing out gives a huge advantage to the home team in either direction.
Makes a lot of sense.
It does. I hadn't thought about it exactly that way. And I was like, NBA referees are better than college referees. You see this play out even worse at the college level, but even NBA referees are still human beings, and they hear the boos and the ups and the downs.
Even when I watch baseball, sorry to cut you off, like these umpires, depending on who the home team and away team is, like there'll be a ball that's barely a ball. That's a ball, and I'll call it a ball. But if it's the home team, they'll get on him that it should have been a strike, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like it's how could that not play a part? You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, they're human beings, and again, I'm hard on like Major League Baseball umpires. But it's not really their fault. I just keep saying we put them in a position where it's impossible for a human being to succeed.
I don't like some of their actions and how a lot of them, display themselves. But I am so with you. It's not their fault that they can't get the calls right 100% of the time. They're forced to make the call like that. I'm with you.
Yeah, you put people in a position that's really impossible. And then, what do you expect? It reminds me of when you hear ignorant sports fans say things like, well, for $30 million a year, you should catch that ball. Like, I'm sorry, you could pay him $80 billion a year. He's still a human being that's going across the middle of the field with two 250-pound elite athletes trying to take his head off. You're not going to catch everyone.
Or like, Ben Simmons needs to practice his free throws or jump shot. Like, no shit. I'm sure that he doesn't spend any time at all in the offseason working on his free throws.
Man, my boy Giannis is a workaholic, and he's in there practicing his free throws. He's just not that good at it.
That's what I'm saying. And it's a different animal when you're in a game.
Yeah, and I agree you should make more free throws. So I was actually shooting hoops at the gym for a few minutes yesterday, and I was like, I haven't shot a basketball in a year, and I just went up and just like, how many free throws can I make? It's just like an average dude, not a terrible basketball player, not a good basketball player at any point in my life, though. And I think I made 7 to 10, and you're like, man, you really feel like elite athletes, like the Simmons and the Giannis's and the Shaq, like these guys should be able to shoot 60%. But then you remember, you know what? I don't have 30,000 people yelling at me and 30 million people nationwide watching this game. There's just no pressure here.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't really imagine that. Like, it's either there or it's not.
For real. All right, man. So here we are to talk sports battle, Nets Bucks tonight. I want to reiterate, guys, a 100% deposit match up to $100. So get your phone out, download the app, make a $100 deposit, and you're going to match it 100%. So you can get some cricket, soccer, basketball, whatever your flavor or sport is, get on into it. We've covered it every day since we started talking sports battle. In regard to the scoring system, it's almost identical to DraftKings. There are subtle differences if you want to check them out. Get on the app, read through it. You can see the subtle differences. And then, of course, we want to outline the difference between attack mode and defense mode. They're aptly named. Attack mode's a little bit more assertive and aggressive with better payouts. Defense mode is going to be just that. It's a little bit more for the casual player, a little bit more on par with a cash game on a pay site.
Sweet. Yeah, we're loving it over here. I'm excited to talk this slate out with you.
All right, so first things first, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 56.59. Man, they put KD and Giannis the same. I like that. This one's easy for me. They're both hitting the over.
I agree with you. I mean, it's game 7. They're going to leave it all on the line. I'm going to take the over here. Man, I like Milwaukee tonight. I've been on Milwaukee all year. I've been on the Clippers all year. I'm sticking with it. I think this is going to be Milwaukee's hardest game to get to the finals.
I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Like this game, you could say they're a favorite to win the finals.
Yeah, especially if you like barring news on Kawhi Leonard and whatnot too.
Right.
Like, for sure. I think the KD over is the easiest pick on here personally.
Yeah, I mean, because he's single-handedly, keeping Brooklyn alive. So I think they're both pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm definitely going over on both. But if you had to ask me to choose, Kevin Durant outscores Giannis tonight because he has to. Kevin Durant, James Harden, as much as we wonder how his health is, he's clearly not 100%. Giannis, again, we talked about the trust factor. I don't trust him the way that I trust Durant. I'm sure the rebounding numbers will damn near get him there alone, but I trust Kevin Durant wholeheartedly. As tired as he looked last game, I trust him with everything I have today to hit the over on this one.
Yeah, I like. So I agree with you. Slightly like Durant more, but I'm going to take the over on both of them.
All right, next up, we move over to Chris Money Middleton, who's been money lately. The big thing with him, though, Jekyll and Hyde on the road versus at home. So I'm going to take the over, but not with anything like the confidence that I had in the other guys.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over too, but I agree with you.
If this was in Milwaukee, the over would be easy, but it's
Yep. Agreed. Right. I mean, we just talked about the home and road teams.
All right, next up, James Harden. He looked a little better last time. Now, he still can't push it. He's not explosive. You can't really expect that. But game 7, everything on the line. You're telling me I'm getting 42 minutes of James Harden? I'll take the over on the 42 points.
One of your crazy numbers from last game, KD had the highest usage percentage of his playoff career, 45%. Harden was in the 20s. Man, I think that just shows you, tells you all you need to know about how hard it is. But I'm with you. I expect a couple more days off. Give me the over here.
Like I said, it's possible maybe he tweaked it or it's worse today, but that's not the likely scenario. The likely scenario is it probably just a little bit better.
For sure.
All right, Drew Holiday at 40.6. I'm going to take the under on this one. I still think Drew's a big upgrade from Eric Bledsoe, but he's out there shooting like Philip Seymour Hoffman and along came Polly. And he could be a big factor if he gets into the lane tonight, but his jump shot is just not good right now.
He's definitely an upgrade over Bledsoe, but he's not a great shooter, like great shooter. I mean, he's a good scorer and he's a great defender, but like a spot-up great three-point shooter has never been him. I'm going to take the over here also. I think it's all about Holiday, Middleton, Giannis if they want to win this game. So just give me the over. He barely gets there.
I was talking to somebody about this last night, and I said in order for the Bucks to win this game, they need one guy to hit some three-pointers last game. The Bucks shot 8% from 3 outside of Chris Middleton the other day, and I don't know if it's Brook Lopez, PJ Tucker, Bryn Forbes, Pat Connaughton off the bench, whoever it is. They need somebody to have a good day from 3. I'm not talking like a huge game, but if like Pat Connaughton can go 3 of 5 from 3-point range, I like Milwaukee's chances. If Brook Lopez can go 4 of 7 from 3-point range, I think that helps them a ton. They have not given you a lot of reason to trust it or have any faith in any of them, though.
I agree, but that's why you got to love game 7s.
Oh, yeah, should be a good one. All right, next up, Blake Griffin at 24.6. I'm going to take the under on him tonight, and my thoughts is you are going to see a ton of Harden and KD. I mean, you mentioned KD's usage rate last game. It might go down a little, but it ain't going down much.
I agree wholeheartedly. Give me the under here as well.
Yeah, I just don't think he takes a lot of shots tonight. And he'll get a couple boards. He'll make a couple shots, but I just don't expect him to have a major factor. Kevin Durant could shoot 40 times tonight.
Agreed.
Rumor has it he's pretty good at shooting.
All
right. Next up, we're going to move over to the assist, points, and rebounds category, starting with the assist of James Harden and Chris Middleton. I feel pretty good about the points and rebounds bets. The assist bets, I'm torn on both of them. The Harden's 8.5 and Chris is 5.5. I guess gun to head, I'm going to take the under on each of the assist guy, but I don't feel great about it.
I'm going to take the over on Harden, under on Middleton.
Okay. Rebounds, you definitely give me the plus on Giannis. And KD's closer because he's not quite the same level of rebounding as Giannis, but in this game, him playing probably 46 to 48 minutes tonight, give me Kevin Durant on the over as well.
Yeah, give me the, both overs here for sure.
I could also see this game being another one of those defensive-oriented games with a lot of missed shots on both sides, and that just equates to better rebounding numbers.
Not even that it's because it's defensive-oriented. Game 7, nerves in the first half or the whole game, whatever it is.
Yep. Combination of both of them.
Nope.
All right, next up, the points. KD, 32.5. That's an easy over for me.
Same, easy over. I'm going to take the over on both. I think they both crush the over here.
I feel 100% confident in Kevin Durant. Less confident in Giannis's points at 31.5. I loved what I saw out of Game 6. Didn't shoot any threes, went into the paint religiously. Also, kind of locked the game down with some free throws in the fourth quarter, which I was really impressed by. But that was in Milwaukee. So I'm more torn on the points for Giannis than you are, but I got to go a little homer, and I'll just agree with you on this one and take the over.
I think Giannis has like a monster first quarter, and after that, it's a breeze for him to get the over here.
I hope you're right. I hope he just gets into the lane. I think he's going to play like 44 minutes today. Probably get like a minute off per quarter, something like that. He could play all 48 today. We'll see. I mean, this might be the biggest game of the NBA playoffs, right?
I was hearing Brian Windhorst say like the Bucks like should win this series. Like
they should,
with Kyrie out, and it's not like an embarrassing loss if they lose it, but like they should win this series. So I'm kind of with that. Like they need to take care of business tonight.
So, I mean, if you look at the best two players, and I can't count Harden right now just because he's banged up, but we got Giannis on the Bucks and we got Kevin Durant on the Nets. I trust Kevin Durant more than I trust Giannis. I think almost everybody in the world would agree with that one. And if they didn't, then they're probably just wrong. I forget where I was going with this. It's a bad look for either of them if they lose, but because of what you said, it's a worse look for Giannis because Kevin Durant can lean on a Kyrie injury. James is not 100%. He could be like, well, you know what? Milwaukee's a good team. He couldn't do it by himself. No shame on that. You know, the Bucks losing this series, like they are one of the healthier teams. They lost Dante, which doesn't help, but they're one of the healthier teams left in the playoffs. It's a bad look for them to lose.
They're one of the only teams like with their 3 best players still healthy.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm a Bucks homer. It's not a good look when and if you lose the series because you're healthy and the other team is not. Now, they were playing with house money, playing the big 3, but that's just not the thing that happened throughout the series.
Yeah, exactly. Things changed throughout the series.
Like almost every series for the NBA playoffs, man. Like, you know, as much as you want to rag on the Jazz, they went into last night with Mike Conley clearly still not 100% and Donovan Mitchell not 100%. So I can't really rag on them for losing when your best 2 guys are playing on one leg. You know, the other team lost Kawhi and stuff like that. The role players really stepped up. I mean, just this whole NBA playoffs is wild for the injuries.
Yeah, it's been bizarre, that to say the least.
So, what did you put any credence into what LeBron said? Like, oh, I called it. I would have thought that more at the beginning of the season, but I mean, we've played 70 games now, 80 games for a bunch of these guys. I feel like they're probably in shape at this point.
Yeah, the other thing is like I don't know, their bodies maybe are starting to break down now.
Maybe. I mean, could be valid.
I don't know. I mean, I tend to trust LeBron on stuff like this. Like he's got, you know, he's taking care of his body more than anyone I've ever seen in like the history of the world. And, you know, if he's saying it, I kind of believe him.
That being said, the flip side of that is he has every ability to say that to make himself look good right now too, which as much as I'm a LeBron fan, I wouldn't put him past it to say that, to be like, I told you guys, I told you this was going to happen. Because the season was hard on him and the Heat and a couple other teams, but there was a bunch of other teams that they had a lot of time off. And they might have only played one playoff series.
It was like for them and the Heat, man. I mean, you said like about this during the regular season. It seemed to really catch up on those teams.
For sure. And LeBron's older. Anthony Davis is not a gym rat. He doesn't stay in shape as well as people would like him to, hence all the injuries. It did really seem to pile up on the Heat, but they also just might not be as good.
For sure. I mean, I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It's a fun conversation to have, but that about does it for today, guys. Check out Sports Battle, grab the app, get your money in there, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.